Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach under the sun. Reason why there's no such coaching program like my coaching program anywhere on the internet. That's very true. Go check out all of my coaching packages. The link is down below. You have the three choice between audio exchange, unlimited, the Zoom sessions, unlimited, and phone calls unlimited. Unlimited simply means that we're not counting necessarily. It's 2 to 3 times per week that we get together by these means. Everything is recorded for posterity and also for me to be able to go through it later. I will listen to each conversation that we have or each audio that you sent me. In the case of audio exchange, 2 to 3 times. I'm really interested in what you have to say. And I really cover everything in my coaching thoroughly. 2 to 3 months minimum is what I recommend to spend in my coaching with me in order for me to be able to cover my program in its entirety. Okay, this is really important to stress. I don't think spending 1 month will solve anything for you. And I'm being perfectly honest, because of the fact that we need to go through your history first, starting with childhood. This is so important because it really just gives me the map of your mind, your blueprint, what you believe till today. And you may not be consciously aware of actually these things still sticking around in your mind. And sometimes that takes, depending on the person's history, it takes me up to a month, sometimes longer. I will offer you my commentary upon receiving your audio, for example. I re-listen to it, I take my extensive notes, then I record my reply. In the case of Zoom sessions and phone calls, the same scenario happens, except I give you assignments, I give you directions at the end of each call or audio, etc., what to work on next, what to give me next, okay? So you're never left in the dark about what you're going to work on next, what kinds of things you need to explore or tell me, etc., etc. It's similar to therapy, but it is not therapy at all. And here's 2 reasons why. Number 1, we're not going to spend years and years on this, okay? 2 to 3 months is minimum. Some people have stayed with me up to 6 months. There have been some people who've stayed with me for a year, but that was entirely their choice. My personal preference is that you focus and you do this, process in a very kind of like focused way. 3 to 6 months, I would say, is maximum, okay? Because after that, it kind of becomes that you really need me all the time, and that's not my goal here. It's that you get it and you do it on your own, and you never need another coach again, okay? You can come back, for a phone call here and there, okay? People do it all the time, but as far as coaching is concerned, you get it and you kind of like move on with your life, okay? So the other thing is, if you have any questions, email me directly. The other thing is that I want to remind everybody, I do seminars for up to 10 people. That's what's comfortable for me. We usually do it via Zoom, and it's very effective because there's not too many people. I've done larger crowds. It's not my favorite because I'd rather offer the individual attention as much as I can to every single person in the group. And with larger crowds, you cannot necessarily do that. If you need to make up your mind, after watching several of my videos, I assume, whether I'm your kind of coach, you can book me for an hour. And that hour is simply for you to tell me your story, what you want to work on, and then go ahead and book the coaching. An hour spent with me doesn't solve your problems. I assume that's pretty reasonable, and you understand that going into the hour, it's just for you to make up your mind. Again, if you have any questions, all the information is below. So I'm actually recording this ahead of time. I have when I tell you my notepad is like full of different ideas and different things, but sometimes it's just, the inspiration starts and I cannot talk it down, and I better record it while I still have it in my head, because, there have been moments when I postponed it and then I don't have the same energy with me anymore. I kind of remember it, but I don't. And so the subject of today is how to dominate their thoughts and read them. Okay, so a lot of you have this, and of course the conversation is about a specific person, and a specific person doesn't have to be a lover or a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend. but it's just about anybody, work related, business related, anybody at all, friend, etc. Okay, or family member. But for this audio, we're going to focus on a specific person, as in a lover, okay, or a husband or a wife, or would-be husband or a wife. So the reason a lot of you are having so much trouble, okay, turning the situation into your favor, the number one reason is that, first of all, you don't believe that you can create otherwise, and you believe that something on the outside has the say-so, and you do not. Okay, you think that you're the victim of this circumstance. This is the fundamental reason why, okay? But if you give yourself back the power, right, and realize that maybe you haven't been taught right, maybe your past experiences happened through the old programming from your parents, from whoever you picked up your beliefs that, quite frankly, well, are not based in truth, okay? The world evolves around you. You don't have to try hard. You don't have to really chase anything, and you don't need to be the victim of anything. Okay, it's just a misunderstanding. It really all there is. And so I've been trying to come up with ways to explain how easy it really is if you understand this. And again, if you have a lot of contradictory beliefs to how it actually works, you may need to work through it, like in my coaching. Or I feel like beliefs, it's something that it needs to be worked on with somebody. I think it's challenging to do it on your own, because you need to bounce off of somebody the ideas and how to rescript them, etc. But essentially, you would be surprised. Some people, like even in my coaching, they don't realize what they're believing until they're actually taking the time to sit down and think about it. So this is why, just positive affirmations and thinking doesn't mean anything, because if your blueprint, your program, you're like a computer, okay, operating off a false program that doesn't serve you, you can say whatever affirmation you want, it still won't help you until you reach this deeper knowing, deeper understanding that what I'm believing is pure crap. Okay, that I depend on the outside, that I'm a victim of this circumstance, that I have no control here, when in fact the opposite is true. Okay, that's the entirety of, I don't know if you want to call it spirituality or manifestation. The idea is that the world has it reverse. Okay, and had it reversed for so long, and attributing importance to the outside world, when in fact people need to more understand that the world is them. Okay, my favorite way of spelling universe is universe. Okay, it's all about you, not in a narcissistic way, but in a deeper understanding way. And so when you clearly have this download or understanding of knowing, like belief is like knowing, but knowing is of a higher echelon energy, that it suddenly or at some point through working on yourself finally dawns on you that, what, all this time I've actually been in charge entirely, only I have not worked in my favor. What I've been producing, what I've been creating has not been in my favor. And it will be clear to see for you if you examine your beliefs. It's all there, okay? But the problem that people are having is that if you reinforce your beliefs with experiences, then you have nothing new to kind of reference to with your new beliefs. So it will take you some time to prove your new beliefs right. But the benefit of creating new beliefs will be, so beneficial, obviously, for the rest of your life, but also they will be just as stubborn as the old beliefs. This is the way the beliefs are. And so once you reach this knowing of you being completely in charge, and that the quantum field completely depends on you, the kinds of things that you throw in there, Okay, you start paying attention to what you've been talking about, what you've been saying to the quantum field. There are no secrets in the universe. And so if you think that you're the victim, if you think that, you have no control over your SP, and by control, I really mean in the manifestational terms, okay? I don't mean in a manipulative way where you force situations in the 3D. Very, important distinction. The way to manifest, why it is so easy, is because once you reach this point of realizing the direct relationship between you and the quantum field, and that it's kind of like whatever you are doing on the inside, it's doing on the outside. Okay, it receives the message and reproduces it to the tiniest detail on the outside. Okay, when you really reach this point of understanding, you realize how much power you have and how careful you really have to be about what it is that you put in there. Okay, and how easy it is, okay, to create the outcome that you actually want. So let's just say, for example, up until today, you've been telling a story of victimization, that your SP left you for a third party, that they prefer somebody else, that they're unfair, that they're cruel, that they're this, that, and the other. Okay, and by cruel, I don't mean like abuse, okay? I really mean, insensitive and this and any other. Okay, so that's the story you've created, by the way, parenthesis here. Before you even met that certain person, you've created this narrative in your mind. You already had this story going on, okay? And don't say no, because if you get into my coaching, I'll prove it to you. It was already in motion. And this person had no choice, in fact, but to be that version. Because on that level, with those energies, with those beliefs, there's only one outcome and one outcome only that was possible with that relationship. Okay, I just dropped you a golden nugget like the size of New York City. Okay, this is why when you really understand how you created the shit that you created thus far in the first place, forgiveness becomes easier, even though, of course, the human experience is very vulnerable and sensitive, and feelings are, the real deal, and emotions and all that stuff. But if you understand why it happened, then you become more empowered. It's empowering. It's not to blame or to point fingers or anything like that. It's like you created it, take responsibility, understand how, and now start changing the story. And so at any given moment, you can completely transfer yourself into a reality where you get to create a new situation. This is what I mean by dominating their thoughts. You already are. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're already doing it. You're just not doing it in your favor. So if at this moment in time, you gathered up enough kind of like knowing in your mind, right? And this is, you're going to have to exercise this day in and day out. This is a practice you need to develop and learn. And this is how you're going to see results. You cannot go back and forth, back and forth. This is when people don't get their manifestations. It's so simple. You go in between two worlds. The world that you used to live in with your old shitty beliefs, and then you want to acquire these new beliefs, and you write them down and this, that, and the other. But a lot of people are so, intimidated, scared, don't believe that it could be, and it's for some reason it's easier to believe the bad. And so that is completely backwards, and you need to expect better things out of the world at large because you deserve it. Okay, and so the reason people don't manifest the things that they want is because they're more accustomed to the old story, and the new story sounds like some kind of bullshit. Okay, but it's the same story. It's whatever story you tell. The universe doesn't care. You can tell any story right now and it will come true. But you assigned meaning to the old story. And in fact, the universe thinks that you prefer the fucking old story because you tell it so adamantly. Okay. Now, if all of a sudden you changed your mind and started believing different things and understanding that you have been in charge this entire time, you've been behind the wheel, you're the CEO of your life, you are in charge of your SP's thoughts. Hello, how are you? Good morning. This is not manipulation. Again, I want to reemphasize, this is literally your fucking job. Okay, because if you're not going to think things that they will think whatever else. And that is not in your favor. That is not something you want. That is not favorable. You need, for people who matter to you, think a certain way. Now, it's not a full-time job when you understand how to do it energetically. And so at any given moment, right, for example, you used to think of your guy or girl a certain way. Okay, that they don't want you, you're not desirable to them, that they prefer somebody else, blah blah, whatever the drama is. Okay, and all of a sudden you change it. You, day in and day out, waking up and going to sleep, are thinking something, and it's producing. It's like totally, you already, like I said, dominating the universe with your thoughts, but it's totally producing what you're thinking. So if all of a sudden you started thinking, right now, right here, I'm dropping this thought into the quantum field that this person has changed completely. I don't need to make sense of it, by the way. It doesn't have to make sense, because if I'm in a different reality, it has a new set of rules. This person is different because I'm different. I've changed my mind about things, and my mind is producing a new situation, right? So I've concluded that this is my preference. And so I'm sending out this message into the quantum field that I prefer something completely different. Now, in order to do this, you have to completely abandon the old story. You have to relinquish the emotions behind it and let go the past version by doing so. Okay, if you're still attached to it emotionally, like some people come into my coaching and try very hard to convince me that they've forgiven that person. And then eventually it comes out that they have not forgiven that person at all. Because as I talk to them, I realize they have a lot of resentment, they have a lot of anger. And while that is completely human to do, and anger is a misunderstood emotion, I think a lot of people bottle it up. Keep it down instead of expressing it. I think that's the healthier thing to do. And they want to put on a pretty face with a smile so that people like them. That's bullshit, and it's not going to serve you ever. I myself have learned it like so well. I've been a people pleaser, like a lot of you, and I've decided a long time ago that, you know what, not only did it not serve me well, but I respect myself more, and I'm healthier emotionally by expressing myself exactly how I need to express myself. This is why I'm brutally honest as a person, not only in coaching, but in my life also. Okay, people who know me know that I don't bullshit people. I'm totally straightforward. Some people don't fucking like it, even in my coaching, but that's their problem, okay? But so these emotions that are keeping you stuck in that parallel reality, those are the things that you really need to work through, feel through, express. You know, in coaching, it helps completely. You know, knowing that you're in a safe space. Obviously, everything is confidential in my coaching. It's in the coaching agreement. Unless, you know, there's some crazy situation that you become a danger to yourself. I never had to deal with it, thank God. But obviously, these emotions are preventing you from going where you want to go. And true forgiveness, if I may add, is completely letting go of that. Letting go, forgiveness is not like, look at me, I'm a good person by No, forgiveness is like totally intimately acknowledging 100% there isn't a scintilla of resentment in your body. Not because you want to be a good fucking person, forget that shit. Genuinely, honestly, saying to yourself, wow, I've worked through it. I was entitled to feel angry. I was entitled to feel the resentment, but I've acknowledged those feelings. That's all they really want. The anger, resentment wants acknowledgement, not being bottled down. And now I'm through with it. You know what I mean? People, when they hold on to resentment and these kinds of emotions for years, this is why you keep repeating the cycle. Another huge golden nugget right there as well. And so these emotions keep you stuck in that parallel reality. Let them go, and then you are now deciding on an entirely new reality where what you say literally goes. What you say literally goes anyway. And so now you're painting a different picture where your SP is an entirely different person. Like before, you couldn't like talk to them, talk sense into them. They were running around with other people. doing all sorts of crazy shit and this, that, and the other. Okay. And now all of a sudden they're zoomed in on you. Okay, because you've changed your mind about your self-esteem, about what you deserve. They are loyal and faithful, even though everybody and their mother told you around you, he's a jerk, he's a womanizer, this, that, and the other. It's impossible. Forget about it. Blah, 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 blah. If you're committed to your dream, if you're really after this new reality, in 1 year it goes and out the other. Okay, you really need to be committed to what you want, not what the peanut gallery is fucking saying to you. Okay, I think the idea, though, parenthesis here, is really being honest where you're starting, not to sugarcoat shit. But this is where I come in my coaching, and sometimes people don't fucking like it, and I tell them like it is. This is the situation. Not to just make you feel bad about it, but to acknowledge the truth. Otherwise, how are you changing it, right? So if you're pretending like everything's fine, then okay, so then nothing to change, right? Just manifestation, let's just learn manifestation. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to acknowledge the truth. And that could be brutal, but very necessary, very liberating too, at the end of, processing it. And so you get to create a new version of this, like I said, faithful and loyal, like exactly as you wanted them to be, choosing you over everybody. They're completely deaf to everybody else. Even if somebody stood in their way, a friend or whoever, or a third party or whatever the fuck, you like almost thought that they had some kind of voodoo done to them or something like that. No, no, no. The only mind in your universe is your mind. You're the one who was working against you. Okay, so you want to change like literally this person overnight. You got to start working on yourself. Okay, they will propose to you. They will be all about you. You will hardly believe the result that you will receive. I get this in my coaching all the time. The people who will listen to me in my coaching, which are most people, okay, 99% of the time, people do listen and they do work through it. And the kinds of results that they get is, quite frankly, even I am astonished sometimes. I mean, not really, but I'm like really happy because where they started with me, it was something diametrically opposed. Like literally they would come to me crying. The first session is just tears, the entire session, like totally feeling desperate, totally feeling some type of way, to the point where I'm like, wow, I wonder like if we can work this, And so it becomes that whatever you decide, right, the allowing yourself to, how you read their thoughts, you give them the thoughts that they're thinking. You give them the new script. You assign a new reality to this a new version to this person. New, completely brand new. The past has nothing to do with the present. When you change, it's like Bashar says, when you change one thing, you change everything. He's, a little bit convoluted, I find, and a little bit kind of unclear when it comes to changing things in the present. So this is my explanation. When you change something, change your mind in the present, you travel to a different timeline entirely. So the past that you remember has absolutely nothing to do with the past that you now have. You can actually script the past of that situation, okay? I've done this numerous times. You can make shit disappear, literally have physical evidence supporting what you've now scripted your past is. It's not so much actually that you're scripting a new past, is that must be the past in order for this person to be this way. And so whatever the interpretation that you, like however your physical mind, your human mind has to buy into this idea that this person is this way right now because of this, and this, then that's what you have to do. For me personally today, I don't even have to go to those lengths. It's fun, don't get me wrong, to rescript the past. Revision, as Neville Goddard calls it. But for me, it's no longer so shocking to see a complete change in somebody just because I decide that it's so. Okay, but the requisite is that you don't attach yourself anymore to the old version. You need to let that version go. Okay, and so you sit down and decide, okay, they're treating me like the queen. They're faithful and loyal to the point where they're obsessed with me. Okay, They're thinking this right now. They're making up their mind that it's only me they wanted. They're planning to propose to me. They're going out, or they're showing up at my door to beg for my forgiveness. They're writing me a letter explaining what had gone on, why they haven't been in touch with me. They really, really love me, and the only reason why it took them so long to realize it or to come forward to me is because I was not in the same frequency, in the same parallel reality as that version was. It's so simple, right? All you need to do is transfer yourself to that reality, and then your dearest SP, the way that you want him, appears, and you say to yourself, wow, it was that easy all this time. Yes. The challenging part, of course, as I always say, is to work on yourself, to admit that there is work to be done. After that, manifestations are easy as pie. You just sit. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to beg, plead. You don't need to do anything. You just need to have this rapport with the quantum field and change things around and create a new energy around this person where they're completely different. And who cares what happens to the other version? You're in a different reality, different timeline. And to embody this energy, that's the work. That's the, redoing of beliefs, redoing of emotions, processing the old emotions, and now creating a new energy that will be your dominant energy. And this is how you dominate their thoughts, through your own energy. And it's like in the last audio yesterday that I recorded, it's like this, you need to charge them with your own energy. This is how you do the energy work. I mean, that's like short of it, I can talk for 2 hours about it, like I said. But you charge everything with your own energy. But the relationship between you and the quantum field, where things are in the invisible at first, and then they become visible, that's the rapport that will create magic in your life. All the time. And you need to know how to talk to it. And it's really mad easy. You can create a different outcome today, right now, in a millisecond. It doesn't take 10,000 affirmations and all these crazy techniques. You know what the technique is? You just command it. It takes like not even a second to command it. An idea comes to your mind and you say, this is how they are right now. That's it. I've just decided. What else do you need? That's the technique, your decision. It's not a mystery what they're thinking. Just ask yourself what you're thinking about them. It's not a mystery what they're going to do or not do in the next second. Just ask yourself, what do you think they're going to do in the next second or so? But some of you, the other thing is that, again, you don't think that you're that powerful. You don't believe it. You don't believe that this is actually how reality is constructed. And you don't believe you're that powerful. So if you don't believe you're that powerful, then you're not. This is a whole other situation that you need to learn, that you are that powerful. You are that powerful that you created, other things that you wanted in your life. You are that powerful. You are that powerful that you're creating your whole 3D reality like 24/7. This is all kind of like a game. It's not kind of like, it's a game. This is how powerful. If you did not create your reality, the reality would disappear. And it will be just like darkness around you. Nothing. Like literally total, no stars, nothing. Okay, so this is how powerful you are. So if you really understand, I'll give you this example really quick just to insert, because I meant to talk about this. One night, I think I already spoke about this, but one night I woke up to go to the bathroom, and I was coming back to my bed, and I looked at my hand, and suddenly I had this profound realization, like my hand looked like a cartoon. I don't know how else to say it. It was freaky. Everything looked like a cartoon around me. It was one of these kind of like games, that everything looks unreal. Everything looks like, basically computer generated. And I looked at my hand and I was like, oh, now I get it. This is what it really is, and I can't explain to you how it felt. I just can only describe it as being in a cartoon, in a video game, okay? It shocked me a little bit, but, you know, for me, like, I've had so many different experiences that I'm kind of blasé about it. I was like, oh, okay, that's what I thought, kind of deal. And so apply this knowledge, if nothing else, make it easier for your human mind to make it not so serious. Okay, you're making too much drama, some of you, a lot of you, making too much drama out of the situation where you should be just playful about it. Even in the most difficult situation, if you apply this lightheartedness, right? Whatever the situation is, you can change it, okay? The idea, though, is to learn the mechanics of this game. To learn the mechanics is that you are the number one player of this game. You are the number one commander, and without you, like, literally nothing happens, right? And that's exactly how you dominate this. And this is how you give everybody a script, what to think about you. I mean, it's not a mystery. Like, again, do me a favor and conduct this exercise in your life, okay? And prove yourself right, or prove this method right, rather, and prove yourself right in this exercise. Pick somebody who you haven't been in contact, somebody easy, somebody you don't have a lot of resistance towards, where some conflict happened or whatever, and they didn't treat you very well, blah, blah, blah. Some friend or some coworker, blah, blah, blah. And just expect an apology from them and send them a message in your mind. You're going to apologize to me now and send me this message. And watch how quickly this is going to happen in that day or the next day, okay? It's all telepathic. It's all happening in your mind. And so if you want to change the thoughts of anybody, your SP, you know, or whatever, you need to clear the garbage of emotions that stands in your way and then get to really playing with this. And it can become so much fun that you'll look back on your experience today and you'll be like, I was so silly. I was making so much drama. This is why it took me so long, because I was making it difficult. It's not difficult. It's easy. What's challenging, again, is changing your mind, literally your beliefs, and letting go of those emotions, because some of you are really stubborn about holding on to them. And the fact of the matter is that I sympathize and I understand, but without letting go of those emotions, new shit can't come in. All right? It's kind of like you have too much blockage towards, you know, everything that you deserve. It's at your door, right? It's ready to come in, but you're still holding on to tears, to anger, to resentment, to all this jazz, when you could be living that life right now, in the next minute, okay? Today, tonight. The whole entire, like, your SP is literally waiting for you to start thinking new thoughts about them so that they can become that version. Nobody moves, nobody says anything that you don't want them to say. Nobody moves unless you allow them to move towards you, okay? So you don't need anybody's permission to start changing the story and start commanding the quantum field to give you all the goodies. You just need to decide that that's how it is from now on. It always has been, like I said. But create that relationship and start experimenting. Start having fun with it. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope this made sense. All the information from me is below. Until next time, ciao, ciao.